Hi, Adrian here from the Blue Wren Foundation. I wanted to take some time to share with you what we do and why we do it, and also about some of the programs we've been running and will be running in Australia in 2016. So I'm really excited about where this work is taking us. I have an amazing group of men who I work with. In January, my good friend John Russell and I trained 6 men to join us to become facilitators. So now we have a team of 8 great men taking this work out into the communities. So look, the story of the Blue Wren started almost 6 months ago after talking with my wife and with friends and with other men about the work I've been doing for 20 years working with men, and the topic of domestic violence, anger, men's work in terms of their emotions. It always comes up in men's work. And then in October I had the good fortune to listen to Rosie Batty speak in Brisbane, and then I read her book, A Mother's Story, and it totally moved me. And in that moment, after reading the book and sharing some words with my wife, I made the commitment to jump in and do more work in preventing family and domestic violence. So over the last 6 months, it's what I've been doing. It's been quite a journey. Apart from the training with the men in the facilitator training, we've also had 2 pilot programs, one in Brisbane and one in Melbourne. And now we're setting off and taking these programs out across Australia. Very, very shortly we have a program in Sydney, where I now live, with gay men. So we're taking this work into the gay community for gay men to get in touch with their attitudes, emotions, beliefs, behaviours around relationships and family and domestic violence. And then also we're taking our programs into places like Byron Bay, Armidale, back into Brisbane, Melbourne, here again in Sydney, and then really we're going to take it out further west and right across Australia. So really, really exciting times ahead for us. Just recently on the weekend there was a report in a newspaper from Jimmy Bartell from the Geelong Cats AFL player, and he told a very poignant and moving story about his own upbringing with his father and dealing with family and domestic violence. And it just came to me clearly that this is so prevalent in so many households, so many families. 1 in 3 women are subjected to family and domestic violence, whether that's physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, sexual, many, many, many levels of men stepping over that line and putting forward this control, this perpetration. It's not a word I love to use, but it's one that is being used. We perpetrate against, we violate against, and it's done sometimes very subtly and sometimes not so subtly. And the work that the Blue Wren Foundation is not so much about working with perpetrators per se, although I must be clear that either in the past, the present, or perhaps in the future at some point, I believe very strongly that nearly all men, if not all men, will overstep that line in the sand in terms of being in a relationship with their partner. And specifically I'm talking here about male-female, but also for the gay community it's male-male, and also discount that often men are abused in some way by their female partners too. So look, it's a huge big picture, but specifically right now for the Blue Wren Foundation, it is about working with men. So we're working with men in our programs, and the program is called A Line in the Sand. And men come along for 2 days and they get to really explore and discover and work with their own personal line in the sand. Because this is not so much a generic story of putting everybody in the same boat. This is about finding the individual beliefs, attitudes, behaviours, understandings, education around relationship and family and domestic violence. So the men who step into this place, we're not saying, hey look, you're an abuser, you need to come and do this work. We're saying come and learn some strategies, do some work, do some education, do some emotional release work, and find out what that line in the sand is for yourself, and then learn to bring it back so you're stepping over less often, or hopefully not at all with this great work. So look, I really, really, really encourage the men to step up, step in, step forward for yourselves, for your relationship, for the community, and for a real culture change that needs to happen. And this is not just Australia, this is globally. You know, we've got to change this culture where we keep putting this stuff under the carpet, and we have to bring it out. And as many, many, many people have said in the community, this is a journey for all of us together. Yeah, this is a journey for all of us to work together to bring about stopping family and domestic violence and bringing about more harmony into relationships. I know from 20 years of work with men that when we step in and we sit in circle and we choose to do the work physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and find the vulnerability, the courage and the commitment to do this work, things change. I've been lucky enough to work with thousands of men on several continents, Australia, Africa, Europe, and each time a man chooses to step into that circle, a circle of safety, then magic happens. And I invite every man to come in and experience some of what this magic is, because I'm telling you, it will change your life. It will change the life of others. And then, in effect, it'll help to stop some of the family and domestic violence that happens in our community, in our homes, and also will save lives. You know, just in Australia, on average, every year, 110 women die at the hands of their partners through family and domestic violence. And in Queensland alone last year, the police had 66,000 call-outs. 66,000 call-outs to family and domestic violence incidences. That's in one state. You imagine what that's like throughout Australia. Yeah, it's just mind-blowing. It really does blow my mind at the prevalence of the family and domestic violence incidents that are reported. And then of course there are those that are not reported. So I really do urge you, give me a call, contact me, go to the website www.bluewrenfoundation.com, watch the videos, read what we have to say, and please come along, men, and join us. I feel like this is a crusade to change a whole paradigm, change a culture, and we can do this together. Yeah, so this is an urge, this is a plea, this is an invitation, this is a challenge for all men to come on board and do this work. We can walk, we can talk, we can sing, we can write, we can have conversations about this, we can bring the awareness about this work. But then where is the stepping in and doing the process around doing some emotional work, some work to really get an understanding of our own line in the sand? Because I really do believe, and I'm going to reiterate this again, I'm going to challenge this, that on some level in the past, in the present or in the future, nearly all men, if not all men, will overstep that line of the sand and do something to violate another. And we can learn some great strategies and great tools to help us to restrict, to stop that happening. So men, let's do this. And for you women listening to this, encourage you men to come along and do this. Because it's for you too. It's for you, it's for them, it's for the children, it's for the families. It's for all of us, it's for everybody. So thank you for listening. And I look forward to seeing you men in a program with us at some point very, very soon somewhere in Australia.